change is required. Money has to be taken out of politics. We need new political systems that genuinely represent ordinary Americans. I went on a show called Morning Joe. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Good Morning Joe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of during.
Hey, what's up, you all? Welcome back. I am Van, and we are all the LFR family. Thank you so much for clicking play. I appreciate it. Hopefully, you click that like button as well. It helps to move the videos along the way that they should, so that so many other people can find the LFR family and the LFR family channel and be able to share our stuff the same way you do. And don't forget, guys, when you get an opportunity, go to lfrfamily.com. Ask me about the Bang Bang Tea. Shout out to everyone who has been purchasing so much Bang Bang Tea. I just now went and restocked. I got a great deal more of tea because of you all. So thank you so much. Also, if you ordered some, I have two people out there who ordered some. One person ordered a 10-pack and one person ordered a 3-pack. And you did not leave me your address, okay? You did not leave me your address. I cannot send it to you if I don't have your address. Okay, so we've been checking out videos lately of Russell Brand because he has been going from show to show and just being extremely honest about what's going on in the world. And I need for y'all to really, like, if you haven't checked it out already, go check it out, okay? Because we got a couple of things that we're going to review today that have to do with Russell Brand. Now, he was on Bill Maher, and he decided to read a whole list full of facts to Bill Maher. And it made Bill Maher and his crew uncomfortable as hell. All he was doing was reading facts, stuff that he researched, printed out when he brought to the table. I mean, he asked him for permission if he can read the facts. He wasn't smiling on anything. He asked if he could do it. Bill Maher said yes, but when he started to get into it, Bill Maher was trying to shut him down, and it wasn't happening. So he is now on David Rubin's show, the Rubin Report, and they're talking about his visit to the Bill Maher show. So let's check this out together and let's have some good conversation with it. Let's go.
Values anymore, but of course I know that people are. And yeah, I don't like the idea that I'm being impolite to a person. That's not in accordance with my values.
All right, we're not doing a normal intro today. I think you might know this guy, Russell Brand. Welcome to the Rubin Report here in Locals in Miami on your American tour.
Thanks for having me on the Rubin Report.
Pretty good. We get our own mugs. You can have that. You want to keep that mug?
Yes, please. I'd like you to sign it, and I'd like to. I'll keep it as a memento of a already lovely occasion. Just arriving here and meeting everyone has been so lovely.
You're bouncing all over the place, man. It's been a wacky week. Do you have like a word that would sum up what has happened since you got to America? The Bill Maher thing, and then you've done 800 shows and all over the place. What word would sum it up for you?
Vicissitude. Like it's sort of like a vacillating, undulating, shape-shifting, state-altering kind of. It's interesting, isn't it, mate? Because where other than the vanguard of the political conversation would you want to be? Where else would you want to be? But the truth is that I don't do well with antagonism. I don't do well with it. I don't care for it much. You know, I prize serenity very highly. I don't really particularly enjoy being at the center of incendiary matters, nor do I enjoy being criticized. Like, say if you ask someone for feedback, this is what I mean. I go, oh, have you got any feedback? Do you know what I actually mean? Can you give me a series of very sincere and specific compliments now? Yeah. That's what I mean. Sincere and specific compliments. The way you did that was brilliant. Thank you. Then I can sort of sit and reflect on it as if like we're studying something that's objective and external. I don't like to feel attacked in particular. Perhaps nobody does. I long ago, due to the nature of celebrity, have broadly elected to extract myself from the discourse about me, deciding, as is suggested in my program, what other people think of me is none of my business. Yeah. What other people think of me is none of my business.
I love that. I say that all the time too. The way people, whatever you think about me, that's not my business. That's yours. I can do nothing about it. It's absolutely nothing I can do to change that. I can be nicer to you, and I can try my best to pamper you and prod you and be your best bud and all this other stuff. But then you'll just decide that, okay, I like this treatment, so I'll show him favor and smile and be kind. No, I don't need anybody to do that for me. I mean, especially if Russell Brand is going on these shows and he's not on a popularity tour. He's not trying to be popular. He's already popular. He's not trying to chase clout. He don't need clout. He already has clout. He's not trying to get, well, he is trying to get more money because these tours, they pay a lot. But what he's doing, though, he's just bringing the truth based off of what's going on. And he's hoping that conversation could brew up so it can lend toward solving some of the things that we're going through, rather than people digging their feet so deep in the sand, digging their heels so deep in the sand just to defend their positions rather than listening objectively. And that's where he has an issue.
So you can do what you want in your mind. That's yours. Or you could even say what you want. It's none of my business. It's abstract. But of course, like on the level of how I actually feel, I am, like all of us, I'm sure, a well-intentioned person, and I'm optimistic about human beings.
The question queens. Yo, question queens. You and I need to talk very soon, okay? Very soon, all right? Okay. And congratulations on how well your channel is doing. That's amazing. You should be extremely hype about that.
Trying to do something that I feel is important.
Yeah.
And perhaps I hope I'm doing it well, but of course with no way of knowing.
Isn't it kind of funny, like someone that doesn't court the controversy, and then you have a moment like that real-time moment, which actually, why don't we just throw to it real quick? Everyone's seen it a million times. We'll throw to it.
It's disingenuous to claim that the biases that are exhibited on Fox News are any different from the biases exhibited on MSNBC. It's difficult to suggest that these corporations operate as anything other than mouthpieces for their affiliate owners in BlackRock and Vanguard. And unless we start to embrace... And also, mate, like, just spiritually, if I may use that word in your great country, we have to take responsibility for our own perspectives. I've been on that MSNBC, mate. It was propagandist nutcrackery on there. I went on a show called Morning Joe. It was absurd the way they carried on.
Good Morning Joe. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. It wasn't morning. There was no one called Joe there. No one could concentrate. They didn't understand the basic tenets of journalism.
It's called Morning Joe. It wasn't morning. There was no one there named Joe. They couldn't concentrate. They was drunk. They was lit, bruh. They was at work sipping on the job. That's what they was doing. And I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt by saying that they was just drinking, because they was probably doing a great ton of other things while they were there. But they showed him absolutely no respect, and he tore them a new a-hole, bruh. And that's exactly what they get. But I digress.
No one was willing to stick up for genuine American heroes like Edward Snowden. No one was willing to talk about Julian Assange and what he's suffered trying to bring real journalism to the American people. And I think to sit within the castle of MSNBC throwing rocks at Fox News is ludicrous.
My friend,
make MSNBC better.
The moment that you give me a specific example, an actual example.
Okay, I'll give you one.
Wait, just wait.
See? You forgot who you talking to. The moment you give me a specific example, okay, I'll give you one. The dude came with his own pen and pad filled with daggone facts of what's going on, man. He's just letting you know that y'all are not above anyone. You're playing the same exact game as the people that you claim are beneath you. Relax.
Wait. Just
we need a specific example.
How about let me tell you what the specific I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear a specific example, a provable specific example of an MSNBC correspondent or anchor being on television saying something they knew was false, and we're saying behind the scenes to people, I'm about to go out, and we know that the election wasn't stolen or something equivalent.
Example.
But I will go out on television and say the opposite. I will lie.
When's my answer?
Just give me the specific example.
I understand the basic point.
Give me a specific example.
All right.
I'm with you. I think it's a false equivalency, Russell.
It's not.
That's your own bias.
It's not about bias. It's a false equivalency because you don't actually know anything about any of these organizations you're talking about, even on MSNBC once, big deal.
My darling, it was more than enough.
You can't come up with
such a
you don't have a single actual fact.
Do you want an example? Do you want an example?
Yes.
Now, he asked him for an example, then try to shut him down, let them know that you don't know what you're talking about. That's exactly what he did. He said, you've been on the channel, you've been on MSNBC one time, big effing deal. That tells me nothing. That means you know nothing about them. And now, because the whole time that Russell Brand was talking, he was feeling attacked because he was feeling less than. Like, I'm supposed to be here on the Bill Maher show as one of the experts on the panel. And Russell Brand is the comedian / actor / YouTube sensation, but I'm still the expert when it comes to politics. And here this guy sits across from me, looking cooler than me, sounding way more intelligent than I sound. So now I'm going to attack his character. Here's an opportunity for Russell Brand to set him straight.
The ludicrous, outrageous criticisms of Joe Rogan around ivermectin, deliberately referring to it as a horse medicine when they know it's an effective medicine.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Rachel
example.
Maddow turning up on the TV saying, if you take this, you're not going to get it when it hadn't been clinically trialed for transmission.
Non-responsive.
You have to listen.
Wait.
Do you think you can improve America by
think we could
determinedly
all be
and
better.
avowedly condemning Fox News without acknowledging that you're participating in the same game? Did you not just listen to Bernie Sanders, someone who plainly, legitimately believes in this country and believes it's possible to change, but is bound by corruption, is bound by the lobbying system? Surely it's clear to you, Bill, as one of the great pundits and experts and comic voices, that systemic change is required. Money has to be taken out of politics. We need new political systems that genuinely represent ordinary Americans so that we can overcome cultural differences.
Hey, what's the guy named, the bald guy that he's talking to? What's his name? Someone please tell me his name, because that guy, I'm sure he's done a talk or two about this whole Russell Brand situation and defending himself. So please let me know whatever his name is so I can go look this bad boy up, man, because Russell Brand is giving him the business, but I'm gonna be quiet for the rest of this.
And bickering about which propagandist network is the worst is not going to save a single American life, not improve the life of a single American child, not going to improve America's standing in the world, and the world needs a strong America. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. So you have an obligation, a duty, not to condemn these people.
You weren't being a I mean, that's the thing. You were trying to say something very true, something that most of us we know about media and everything. But then it gets turned into like this destruction of this guy. And I probably even feed into some of that when I cover it on my show. Like, man, that guy kind of deserved to get wrecked, but it wasn't really about him. You weren't trying to make it about him.
Nah, he deserved to get wrecked because he jumped out there trying to be funny. He was trying to be disrespectful to Russell Brand, and yes, he deserved to be wrecked. But I said I wasn't going to stop it, so I'm not going to stop it this time.
That was very clear.
I was astonished that anybody is willing to go to the mat for that set of values anymore. But of course, I know that people are. And yeah, I don't like the idea that I'm being impolite to a person. That's not in accordance with my values.
But you weren't really being impolite. You were being passionate, right? Like you weren't.
Hey, Angel and Katarina.
I think you were confident in what you were saying, and it needed to be said.
Yeah, I feel we can't move forward with the conversation from it happens in politics, doesn't it? You know, when they say, "Oh, well, this is only happening because the last administration done that," or "This is because CNN or Fox News or whatever." It's like, well, why don't we focus on what we're contributing individually, or if we claim to be the representative of some sort of movement, class, culture, or advocacy group, perhaps then we can look at how, if we claim to speak on behalf of them, and certainly I make no such claim, then we should look after ourselves and our own conduct. And because, as Gandhi said, I find I am such a sinner in my own life, I'm not confident when it comes to judging others. I try to monitor my own behavior, but I am engaged in punditry, I am engaged in commentary, so you know, like, and as I said, I suppose in that conversation, it's not like I particularly align with Fox News as an institution. In fact, I have a rather colourful history with that organisation.
Right. So when you were preparing for the show, or they're telling you, you know, they do a pre-interview with you, or are you past that point?
We kept trying to do it, but I kept not doing it. I kept not doing the pre-interview.
Right.
There's a
But you
pre-interview.
knew what the topics were going to be, right?
No, I knew. Like, what happened? They said that they were gonna. They said that might come up. Actually, I thought that they said we would talk about the pandemic, and then I think that they said that there was a possibility that the changing nature of the relationship between Fox News and Trump would come up, and so I suppose it was within the orbit of that topic that the contretemps around the distinctions between neoliberal establishment media and neoconservative establishment media was discussed.
Yeah, it was so interesting because when he was trying to get you, like, give me the one, right? Like, he was trying to give me one time that they intentionally lied, and it's like, man, we could do this all day. Very fine people on both sides. Brett Kavanaugh's a serial rapist. The Covington kids are racist. I mean, I do this on my show every day. You went with the Rogan one, and it's like he just didn't have much after.
He wanted to.
But does it get to that point of like it's weird that anyone defends it? Is that really what you think this is about? I'm starting to come to that too. That it's hard to defend at this point.
This is where I'm at, Dave. Why don't we now acknowledge that there are different ways of being a human and call a kind of truce and accept that there are some people, for the sake of simplicity, that there are progressive ways of being a human being. There are traditional ways of being a human being. Neither of those ways are wrong. Why don't we allow one another to express ourselves how we want to within the obvious bounds of consent? And then perhaps we can organize different alliances so that we can organize around the systems of centralized power that will elsewise continue to dominate and annihilate.
I think what he just now said is extremely intelligent, is extremely mature, but it's also naive. And please don't think that I'm saying anything negative about Russell Brand by me saying that. But if you do take it that way, then that's your business. And I say that because whenever we try to have these kumbaya moments where we say everybody's great and everybody's good and everything is good and everything is great, and we should just let everybody play how they play as long as we say it's okay, like it's within consent. That right there negates all of God's law. It negates all of constitutional laws, because sometimes people, as we can see, people are trying to do whatever they want to do. They're trying to make up their rules as they go. They're doing it without children in schools. And I just now watched a video on IG where a man was dressed like a woman inside of a store, and he didn't even look like a daggone woman. He was dressed like a woman, and I guess he identified as a woman. But the clerk was being polite to this gentleman and said, "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." And the guy then goes on to say, "You call me ma'am, and start cussing at him and being all ridiculous in the store. And that is happening because we are giving people all of these false powers to believe that they can identify as whatever the hell they want to identify as. We're allowing everyone to be in fantasy world right now. Because of that, we're becoming a weaker nation. Some people might not believe that's important, but I'm speaking to someone he's from the UK, right? Well, I'm talking specifically about Americans right now. The more we become weaker by the day, the more other nations salivate, and they can't wait for us to completely fall apart. They love the infighting. They love the fact that everyone's out here identifying as this, that, and the third, and just causing so much confusion. And that right there, when you read the Bible, Satan is the author of confusion. But a lot of people don't want to give any credence to that. You just want to say, oh, we're just going to be kumbaya, let the wind blow in my hair, and I'm going to wear a peace sign, and let that be that, and let them wear a peace sign, and let us just love on everybody. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. That's not how you have any order whatsoever. Nobody's trying to be in charge of anyone. But at the end of the day, that is the right way to do things. There's a right and a wrong way to do things. So the kumbaya moments are completely out of the door right now, out the window. There won't be a truce because there's some people who want to make sure we do things properly for the country. And then you have some people who are fighting against it at every turn. And a lot of times people are fighting against it at every turn because for them it's profitable. The dramatization of it all is profitable. The negativity is profitable. So, and the people who finance them, they love this confusion. They are led by the darkness. They are led by demonic spirits. That's how they are. They have private cults, private groups that cater to their whims of negativity and darkness, and they want the entire world to be that way. And since they have the finances to do so and put people in place that can push forward their agenda, that's exactly what they're allowing to happen. And as soon as we don't agree with that, there's going to be a boatload of people like just coming to fight for those people who are just trying to force us to do something that's not of God's will. Not saying that everyone should be believing in God or anything, because that's not what I'm not trying to sell anybody Christianity at all. All right, because I'm not even the greatest Christian, but I do know that at every point in my life that rewarded me because of the actions that I was pushing forth. Guess what? It came because I added a bit of order. It came because I was positive. It came because I was doing the hard things and focusing and I was organized and I was just dedicating myself to do what I had to do in order to put myself in a better position. That's not the case right now. You have people who are trying to do that, but then you have people who are just laying back with their hands behind their head, with their feet kicked up, waiting for someone else to do the work for them. And when you have those different mentalities, there's no kumbaya moment, because one is like, I'm gonna work for mine, as one is like, give me, give me, give me. So I'm not agreeing with them. I'm not going to continue to give them anything if they're not working as hard as I'm working, if they're not working as hard as my children are working at school, or as hard as my wife is working every single day. So no.